Sometimes brushes and materials get to be like old friends.
Oh yeah.
This is an old friend I can't do without. My wife bought me a new friend. But this old friend, you can see it's pretty well wore out. But I use a 3/4 inch brush for mixing mainly, and for doing flowing washes. And
now, Bob, you always said that you like to use your natural bristle for mixing. Now that you've gotten out of the low corner, do you mix with them?
sometimes while I'm in the middle of it, but these are like $24 brushes, and they're Richardson's, and they're pure Calancy.
Yeah.
But they hold, the big one holds a lot of water, but I paint more with this one, the thin one, because I can do the hair. And just, it's like an edge of a brush, where this one doesn't get as sharp as I want, but it'll put more pigment.
It's not worn out yet.
So when I'm doing some of these graded washes, you need to pick up a lot of pigment. Sometimes I'll use a squirrel hair mop. I want to get a bigger one. They're expensive, like Cindy said. And they'll work.
What was it, Rosemary's? Rosemary's, was that the right one?
It was your second one.
This is an Isabie, but Rosemary has a good price of brushes.
Alvarez, what's his name, the painter, plein air painter from South America.
Oh, yeah.
He sells squirrel hair brushes with a very sharp point, except they're about $90, and I'm thinking somewhere along the way I get those for my plein air painting. Now people ask me, what makes the flesh color? Well, a yellow and a red. So what I typically do, have you ever seen a portrait painter paint? What they do is they get their palette and they run all the values down in little chunks of paint. So as they come to the finished part and they start laying on the color and the values, they have the paint there for them. So what I do, this is not quite like oil painters do, but I get a big puddle. I need a puddle that big. If you're mixing smaller puddles, it will handicap you a little bit, because with some washes you literally have seconds before it sinks into that paper and dries. You got to remember to manage that bead and to do some lifting where the lights are. So this is how I do it just about every time, and it's and by the way, my methods are not there's more than one way to skin a cat. Sorry, Deb.
Not your cat.
Not my cats.
Maybe my sister's cat.
Okay.
Sassy. Yeah, sassy. And I might use a little more pigment than I should. This sponge, I got this from more or less Joe Fettingus when I took his class in the 90s. He has a sponge there that he uses quite a bit. And I find it handy to be able to, and you just learn it. It's kind of like playing the piano, water management and brush wetness management, because that's important. Then I'll take cerulean, make me a puddle of cerulean. See, I still have a little red in that brush. Get a nice little puddle of cobalt. Okay, so here I've got, in essence, a range of blue primaries. I've got a red primary. Yeah, I might dip it in that coffee. That'd be an interesting color. And the yellow. And the year I studied color theory was probably 2002, maybe 3. I decided I would spend a whole year reading and studying everything I could on color theory. And it got me into architecture, got me into interior design. It got me into the Munsell color wheels. I mean, there's so much theory and what's interesting is, though, one of the tidbits, getting rid of all the geeky stuff, is that if on the stage you had a blue, a yellow, and a red light, and you showed all those lights to one spotlight, the color you get is white. But if you take a yellow, a red, and a blue and mix it in the right proportion, you get black. But if you shift it to the red side, you get a red, and then it comes into a gray, and you get beautiful warm grays. Or if you shift it to the yellow side, you get yellowish grays. If you shift it to the blue side, you get cool grays. So when I mix this palette up, what I typically do first is I want to come into mixing the flesh color or the orange color.